Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump and today I'll be reviewing Uncharted 3, which was released back in 2011 for the PlayStation 3 and then re-released again back in 2015 on the PS4 as part of the Nathan Drake collection along with Uncharted 1 and 2. Now, the main plot of this game is that it takes place a few years after the events of Uncharted 2 and that both Drake and Sully are in London to sell off Nate's ring because that is is part of the key to this sort of dial thing that'll help I would say the main villains of the game to find the treasure called Atlantis of the Sands or something like that, I believe. And yeah, I would say that's kind of interesting because Nate, in terms of him having because the ring that Nate has throughout the course of Uncharted 1, 2, as well as 3, he has had it since he was a kid, and it does show us having it, or how he acquired it, because the ring he acquires belongs to Nathan Drake, Sir Francis Drake, yeah, and in the first few minutes, or first like half an hour to an hour of the game, it shows us how Nathan Drake acquired Sir Francis Drake's ring. And that's kind of interesting, and to see how this is tied back to some sort of treasure or some sort of ancient artifact. So I think that's quite interesting. And I would say, again, like I said with the previous Uncharted games, it just continues on that formula or storyline of, we have to find this ancient artifact thing before the main villain does, and it probably belongs to someone fictional or real, like Napoleon's treasure in the previous game. As I said before, it's Francis Drake's ring that Nathan Drake has on him throughout the previous games, and yeah, I think that's quite interesting. It's and also it's kind of a cool, unique way of tying back to Sir Francis Drake, because Nathan Drake believes that he is the a descendant of Sir Francis Drake, so it kind of ties back into that sort of lore, sort of like part of the lore of what makes the Uncharted games. And yeah, I would say it's really interesting to see like how it continues on that sort of Indiana Jones type of style, in terms of his this character we've been with since the first game, and he's still doing his the globe-trotting adventures with his friends and stuff like that, where they find various temples and treasures, and to defeat villains that are villains and stuff like that. And that's really nice, and I think it's a quite interesting way of just expanding the lore and the story and the world of the Uncharted as a whole. And obviously, like in the previous games, the it's a third person shooter up, so like you've got you have various guns you can use, you can throw grenades, you can do a beat 'em up, that sort of thing. And I think again it feels different, even though it feels the same. It's quite nice to, like, even though I'm not the best when it comes to shooting type games, I think it's still quite fun and stuff like that. And yeah, now it's time for some gameplay. Now, like in the previous games, you basically go about the world finding different artifacts, and what I would say about the Uncharted games is their use of set pieces. I think the use of set pieces is done quite well. Like in the previous game, you start off in a train, and then, in a damaged train, and then later on you go into the woods and stuff like that. So I think that's quite interesting, quite cool. So also to do like how you can just take cover, and I think that's quite nice. And it's just adds more realism kind of to the game as a whole, just like how you would probably normally do in a shootout. Or to do like how you can get new guns and stuff, so you can just deal as much damage as you can to the enemy. I think that's quite nice. As always, you can always get more bullets and stuff. And also, you can see the amount. I don't know if you can see this, but you can also see the amount of you can see the amount of grenades that I have on my person. Just the thing, which I think is quite nice because you can see, you know, how many you can use at a specific time and stuff like that. And again, the graphics and stuff, I would say it's a big improvement, or more of an improvement. I think they just, in the Uncharted games, they're getting better and better each time. It's kind of like looking at, I don't know, God of War and how graphically those games have come when you compare them to like the previous ones. And it can be a pain, I would say, to try and take out multiple enemies. At the time, I think that's just me because I'm not that great at shooting games. I'm not the best when it comes to those games. So it does take some time for me to get used to the controls. But don't get me wrong, I do enjoy the Uncharted games. I think it's just if I want to like have a good time, I do need to try and get used to like the aiming controls and just try and see how I can get used to them. Yeah, and aim for the head. Okay, and always you can also punch, which is quite nice. Oh, that's awesome! You can just take the gun when it's in mid-air. That's awesome. I think that's quite cool. I wonder, how do I... Yeah. So yeah, I think it's quite cool. I also do really like the set pieces. I think the set pieces are what makes games like this fun. Because you always like are in different places each time, and I just really enjoy doing the set pieces. But I'm bad at shooting, and so I do like the different kinds of guns you can use. I think that's quite cool and fun to use every time. So like, because you're not using the same gun all the time. You've got like different guns you can use, using different bullets, or not different bullets, different ways of fighting enemies, that kind of thing. Just keeps it very fun and stuff like that. So yeah, that's been the gameplay. Now I think time to go back to the review. So overall, I would say that Uncharted 3 is quite fun. I think it has some nice set pieces, and I believe there's a set piece in it where Nathan Drake is going out of the plane. I think that's in this game, and yeah, and it's quite fun. I think it's really interesting of how it just again continues expanding the lore and stuff like that in terms of, oh, here's another ancient artifact that we have to find for the main bad guys, and how it's connected to the main characters and stuff like that. And it's just overall an interesting way of the whole archaeological Indiana Jones type of style, in terms of, oh, here, because like I think that's why I find it interesting and fun, because it's sort of something like Indiana Jones in that sort of sense, as I keep on talking about in these Uncharted videos. And yeah, I think it's just a nice way of just setting Indiana Jones in the modern day, and in a certain sort of sense, and just having like the main character being sort of not kind of like unrelated to a well-known real historical figure, which is quite nice. And yeah, I think overall Uncharted 3 is it's a good game. I would say it's fine. It's nice. It has some interesting things and interesting setups and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say overall it's a fun game, and if you want to play it, I highly suggest getting the Nathan Drake collection, so you can play through not only the Uncharted 3 but all the other previous two Uncharted games, so you can experience those games as well. So yeah, that's been my review for Uncharted 3. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.